So today I'm coming before you regarding the anti-lynching bill and the policing bill that's being addressed in Congress right now. Right now, we do need a solution. I think the people are tired, and at the end of the day, we are ready to eradicate police brutality. We're ready to eradicate racism and all the various injustices that are surrounding the justice system. But right now, you have people out there, they're still protesting because we have no resolve. But for how much longer do we have to not have a resolve for? So the issue is this: the Congress have come together and they have tried to pass a bill, and they're trying to work on things right now. But I want to address two issues, and I want to bring two issues to the light that I'm seeing and that needs to change as we go forward down the line. So one thing, let's start here. Let's look back and just really quickly with me at the anti-lynching bill. When you start off, and that's right now being presented by the Democratic Party through Cory Booker and Kamala Harris. And so with that bill originated in 1922. So you'll see that the original bill actually was presented by the Republicans. I'm going to give you a little bit of history so I can bring you forward to where we are today. The bill was presented by the Republicans and it was stalled out by the Democrats. So it didn't pass because the Democrats back in 1922 didn't pass it. Fast forward to today, and this is about lynching and making lynching illegal, making it a law that you cannot lynch. Okay, so now fast forward to today, what happens is in 2018, the Senate actually passed the bill. And so they were waiting for a response from the representatives who did not respond. So now we come to 2020, and the response we have is through the lynching bill that was presented. Well, the lynching bill that was originally presented back in 2018 that was passed was not responded to by the Democrats. It was passed by the Republicans. Now we come to today when we have all these various issues and we bring it back to the light. We give it a different name. And then now the Democrats want to be the ones that bring it to pass and to pass the lynching bill. Well, then it didn't happen. We know it got stalled out again because the Republican Party claimed reforms. So what am I showing you here? What I'm showing you regarding the circumstances is that one party passed it. Now the other party is trying to pass it. And what's happening is you get a battle between parties of passing a law. So one party passed it. They could not get the credit for passing it. So now you have another party that's trying to pass it, which is the Democratic Party today, and they cannot get the credit for passing it because now the Republicans say we're going to come through and bring another bill, and we're going to include your bill in our bill. So if you want to pass your bill, you're going to have to pass our bill too. So then it takes us full circle. Because what really is happening is just like back in 1922, the Democrats are then going to have to not pass the bill again. Because what the Republicans are offering, it pretty much subverts what they're asking for. So what do we end up as a people? The Democrats don't win. The Republicans don't win. And at the end of the day, we the people lose. Because the left and the right can't come up to an agreement to put something that we desperately need in place. So egos have to be put to the side and teamwork has to happen if we're going to make change. Everybody wants to have a part in history. And too often we have a Democratic Party and a Republican Party that wants to be the party that led us to the victory. So in 2018, the Republicans wanted to be the party to lead us to victory. Now in 2020, we're coming up to the same situation, and now the Democrats want to be the one that leads us to victory. So what we do is we end up at a stalemate because the left and the right, the left is not going to let the right win, and the right is not going to let the left win. So we stall out at the expense of people's suffering, at the expense of people's pain. We stall out. And we end up with no bill, no solution, and no justice at all. That's the political system that we're in and living in today. So I see an issue. The first issue that I want to point out is from the Democratic side. And when you brought this back, what should have happened, you could have led the way for change in government by going to the Republican Party and allowing you guys to sit down together, not try to champion the anti-lynching bill that hasn't passed in 120 years. You want to be the one to champion history and be the party to champion history. When when you could have, as opposed to saying, let our party champion history, let's be an example to the change that the people want to see. And let us unite in the White House. Let us unite. And let us do the bigger thing and go to the Republican Party. And then let us come together and create a bill together. Because if we created it together, we'll pass it together. So that's the first issue that I want to point out. The second issue that I want to point out is in the midst of this circumstance and situation that we're going through with the injustices of racism and police brutality, what we see here is our solution is a law. You want to pass a law that was amended over years, and yes, we do need a solution. And I'm not saying it's not a law, but what I am saying is that as a Christian country, what we should know is laws make nothing perfect. So if you pass a law for police brutality to help prevent police brutality and many of the other things without changing processes, all you do is say it's illegal to do the act, but you did not prevent the act. So that's the way we've been operating, and that's why we see no change in our society. Because if you keep passing laws and not changing processes, then what I'm telling you as police officers is you can still continue to act the way you act. Because the bill in and of itself, the people will celebrate and say, hoorah, because we passed a bill for anti-lynching and police brutality and some of the other various things that's within that bill. But we did not change the act of the officers. And you do not change acts of the officers through laws. You change the acts of officers through processes. Because a law only says you can do it, but I'm gonna create a punishment. I'm gonna hold you accountable for doing it this time. And we already know that we have justice system issues when it comes to accountability and trials that we would then have to fight. So yeah, you can still do the act. I just have a law in place that says that if you do it though, we'll reprimand you for it. But you didn't stop. You didn't eradicate the act. In the future going forward, what we have to focus on is eradicating actions that are hindering and prohibiting the human development altogether. And so how do we do that? We do that through processes. As a business developer, I see processes of how to change actions. So within the plan that I've created for America for policing, within that plan, it changes the process and it simplifies it. When you look at the bill, it's complex with a lot of loopholes that can still be jumped through. But we need a more simplified process that eradicates the act of police brutality altogether. And so that's what my plan does for policing. It eradicates the action of police brutality altogether. And once the action and the process to eradicate the action is put in place, then you create a bill that if now that we've eradicated the action with the process, you shouldn't even have the opportunity to go that route because the process does not allow you to go that route because we changed the process. So now if you go that route, you have actions. But what I did by changing the process is I make it harder for you to even get to the place of police brutality. I make it harder for you to respond with police brutality in all situations. I make it harder for you to have that response. So the goal is to change the responses of officers. And the plan that I've submitted or that I have for police brutality change their responses. It eradicates, and it will eradicate police brutality. Not simply by putting a law, because we all know, as a Christian country, laws make nothing perfect. So vote for me. My name is April Griffin. I am a candidate for the 2020 elections so that I can implement plans that I have for policing and many other plans that changes processes within the systems, to reform processes within the systems that changes the actions, that eradicates the behaviors that we've been seeing of racism and many of the other things. So I thank you again. You can go to my website, get more information. You can contact me directly. My website is WLC2020.com, WLC2020.com. Thank you, and I see you soon.